Thank you very much for the introduction, and thank you for having me here. I'm a last-minute stand-in for Arden Pearson from Hamburg, who unfortunately couldn't make it to this session. She will come later this evening, so take a chance to talk to her tomorrow. And she has a lot of experience in mentoring. I have some experience, and I will give my last-minute presentation to you here today. So I got this title, The Role of Mentoring in Women Scientists, Professional Development, the title of my talk. And the name of me is Kajsa Maria Paulsson, as mentioned. And just a few words about my background again then. I work at the Faculty of Medicine at Lund University. I have a small research group in antigen presentation. We do quite a lot of different things. We work with molecular biology methods, biophysical, biochemical. We do some in vivo work, we do cell assays, and not least we apply synchrotron radiation methods nowadays, which have proven really useful for us. We have different projects. We work with tumor immunology, we work with inflammatory diseases, and we have a fascinating project where we look at immunology and differences in the immune system in migratory and sedentary birds. And there are actually more common denominators between these projects than one might think at the first glance. We have a lot of interesting things going on. The majority of my time, however, I spend on different strategic research questions and research infrastructure, organizational questions. And I work for the medical faculty, but also for the entire life science community at Lund University, including the engineering faculty and the science faculty. And one of the things that we have worked a lot with during the last years is to connect and build bridges to the large-scale facilities, Max 4 and ESS, that we have in Lund. And during this year we have also expanded, so we have a big EU project called the Hanseatic League of Science, where Arden Pearson is my co-project leader, partner in crime. So we have 16 partner organizations and the 4 large-scale facilities in the northern part of Germany and the southern part of Sweden together, forming a really globally unique region. And we try to build connection between the facilities, between industry, academia and the facilities. And there are also a specific sub-project where we work with the regional development actors in our region. So it's really fun and interesting. But today I will talk about mentoring in women scientists' professional development. And the talk will be basically 3 parts. Why should we mentor women in science? We have heard a lot of good reasons already, and I might repeat some of them, giving a little bit of my perspective. Then I thought I could give some kind of practical advice regarding tools and how to do the mentoring thing, if you're a mentoree, an adept, or if you are a mentor. And then I wanted to share some of my personal experiences from being a mentoree and also from being a mentor. So why? There are different reasons, incitements or point of departures. And the one thing is that it is illegal to discriminate. You are not allowed to discriminate based on gender, gender identity or gender expression. Neither you are allowed to discriminate based on ethnicity, religious or other beliefs, functional impairment, sexual orientation, or age. So we have to work against this. There are many, many reasons that we should do this, but one is actually the legal aspect, right? And when looking at gender, we should have gender in focus, but it's not an isolated source of oppression. So it goes together with the other sources of oppression, and we have to think them together, and that is what is called intersectionality. All our organizations or workplaces have strategic plans, I guess, and Lund University also have strategic plans and goals. And I was I was so happy until Pernilla spoke because we had a goal being gender integrated next year, and I was, hooray, that's perfect, that's wonderful, we take this serious. But maybe then this is something that has come from above, and maybe we will not really reach it next year. But I like the goal, that is why I have the exclamation mark after. So we see how far we come. Maybe more realistically, we have during 2017 to 2019 the aim to recruit at least 46% women as new professors. I think we might succeed with that one at least. And then in 2030 we should have at least 50% women as professors at Lund University. Maybe we can make it, maybe. Today, or maybe in the end of last year actually, the percentages below are the percentages of female professors at Lund University. And these three areas pointed out here, medical sciences, technology and science, they are the worst ones, together with economy. There are very few female professors in these areas. I think law is almost 50-50, arts is almost 50-50, humanities, theology, sociology, they are all doing quite fine. But these ones are not good, and neither is economy. So, again, why do we not then reach the highest positions as women? Or why do we not get as much funding or funding as often as men? There are a number of reasons. We have spoken about many of them. So I will just connect a little bit to unconscious bias and to the role model part. So in connection to unconscious bias, there is this phenomena, psychological phenomena, if we would like to say, that is called the Dunning-Kruger Effect. I think you have perhaps heard about it. Have you seen the British Office, you know? This TV show, it's really funny. There is a crazy guy, Ricky Gervais, has this character. He has the Dunning-Kruger syndrome. He's a really good example of that. But it's two parts of the Dunning-Kruger. So it's a cognitive bias in people. So people of low ability, they tend to think, they have an illusion that they are superior, and it's an internal illusion. And then people of high ability or high competence, they make like an external misperception of the people around them. They think, oh, you are so good. I'm not that good. And yeah, then they down-valuate themselves. So it really becomes very skewed. And I think many of you here are not that surprised if I say that men has much more of the tendency to overrate their competence or their ability, and women down-valuate themselves. And this has been done, studies on students, on women and men higher up in the hierarchy, and it's the same. So there are figures on that, statistics as well. Seeing is believing. We have spoken about this. It's super important that we talk about all this phenomena, and that we try to look at ourselves and our surrounding. We need to show to ourselves and to other people that these things do exist. So seeing is believing. So for those that haven't seen this kind of unfairnesses going on, I think it's really important that they are together with people that can talk about it and show what is going on. But sometimes we need to do more than just seeing. We need to see beyond. We need to see through. And Pernilla also spoke about the cult of confidence. You're oozing of confidence. You're super good, almost like a narcissist, right? And this is very appealing to people. You will get probably good positions and everything. Not everyone is able to see through that. Not everyone is able to judge what is competence and what is confidence. And this hits women more than men. of obvious reasons. So we have problems, structural problems, and it requires structural solutions. We need to do systematic work on a broad front, and we need to talk. We need to have a constantly open conversation at all kind of levels. Fight the silence. And if you have a leading position, if you are the chair of a meeting or something, you have to be very alert. Do not accept injustices. You have to be a role model and you have to be brave and dare to act, right? And equality is and should be a natural part of every working environment. So we need a joint approach to reach that. So, and then it was the role model part. And that is also something that we have spoken about. Okay, so this is a lot of text, but what it says is that we lack enough female role models in science today. And those that are there are sometimes not considered good role models, because women that have reached high positions in hierarchy, they tend to have had a more problematic personal life. They've had many times sacrificed time with the children or not having children, time with their partner, resulting maybe in divorce or whatever. So more problematic personal lives of women higher up in hierarchy could make them less attractive as role models for some younger people. It depends on what you value, but yeah, it's a fact. So, next part is more some practical things about mentoring. Maybe I should say that I have been a mentoree or an adept in at least 4 different programs. I have enjoyed that, and I have also had also informal mentors, which I will come back to. And I have been a mentor in a number of programs as well, both at high school level. Being a scientist, being a mentor for high school students was quite interesting. I have been at the Faculty of Medicine, but most often I have been a mentor at the science faculty because they wanted to have mixtures and different perspectives of things. So, if you want to be a mentor or a mentoree, you should think about a few things. As a mentor, not necessarily as an adept, but as a mentor you should really think about what you can contribute. What would you like to contribute to your adept? Can be very different things. And some of the programs that I have been part of, they have done careful evaluation, collecting material, and done matchmaking. I don't know if that is the best way, but it can be one way to find the good constellations. And then, of course, you should think about what you want to get out of this relationship. You will spend quite a lot of time on it. So think about it. What would you like to get out as a mentor and as a mentoree? And how much time are you willing to spend? It can differ a lot, but it's good if you have a match so that the mentor and the mentoree enter at equal conditions or have the same goals. So once you have decided, yeah, let's do it, it's good. You can start by setting up routines. Part of the routines, I guess, is the organization and responsibility part. Who is responsible for what? Who should make sure that you actually meet every second week or once per month? Is it the mentoree? Then you have to make clear that that is the responsibility of the mentoree. How do you want the meetings to take place? Should it be at a fixed place, or should it alter between your place and the mentoree's or mentor's place, and so on? Confidentiality is also very important. What do you share? What can you share exclusively between the two of you, and what will be okay to also discuss with others? Yeah. Feedback and reflection, always, right? It's always good if you can do this. It will improve what you get out from any kind of relationship. And then in the end, I strongly also recommend have a plan, talk about what you want to do. Sometimes you say, this has been great, or this has not been so great. Maybe we see each other again, and sometimes you want to follow up. Maybe you will meet in a different way, less frequently, maybe not talking about the same things, but it's good to discuss in the end of all these mentor-adept relationships, what is the next thing, if there is one. And it can also be open. You can say, yeah, I don't know right now, but you're free to contact me whenever, if you want. So when you then are there, sitting with your mentor or mentoree, I think maybe this is mostly from the mentor perspective, but both parts should definitely be open-minded. What works for one constellation might not work for another. So be open-minded. Try to find out what works for the two of you. Sometimes you have a mentoree that wants you to listen. Sometimes you have a mentoree that wants you to talk, share experiences, give advice perhaps. Sometimes you have a mentoree that wants to be coached. I think that is quite common. Coaching is something that usually is probably expected from a mentor. How will you do this? Yeah, sometimes it's easier to talk when you walk, go to the botanical garden or the university park. Sometimes it's easier if you have something warm to drink, nice cup of tea, nice cup of coffee. And do not rush, do not feel stressed. It might take a couple of times before you connect. Sometimes it clicks, and then you are there meeting each other and having fun immediately. But I think quite often also it takes time, get to know each other. A good thing I have really appreciated is when we have visited each other's labs. It's good fun, good way to get to know each other. And yeah, having fun, trying to keep that in mind when you meet. You do this to learn, but you do this also to develop, and it's not impossible at all to have fun at the same time. Then there are many different tools, different ways. Different constellations need probably to try out different things, as we said, but this is one tool that I learned about and that I really think is interesting, the appreciated inquiry method. So instead of finding obstacles, if you have goals, you want to go there, you see the obstacle here, oh, I will remove this, problem solving. That is one way to do things. But in appreciative inquiry, you try to find the good things. You will not remove the table. You will see there is an open path and I'm really good at running fast. I will run fast to reach the goal instead. So in all constellations, in all organizations, there are things that work very well. And sometimes by developing them even further, it's a really good way to reach your goals. So examine the things that work and do more of that, and examine involvement and create positive feedback. And these are questions that you can use. I don't think I will read all of them. Probably these presentations will be available to download if anyone is interested. I instead move on to my mentors and mentorees. So I have had formal mentors and informal mentors. I have had only one man as a mentor. And for me, yeah, I mean, all my mentors have been great experiences, but my man mentor, yeah, it wasn't the optimal, and I still have feelings of guilt because he gave me so many advice, and he really pointed out the good way to do an academic career, and I didn't exactly do what he said. So I don't know why. Was it because he was a man that I felt I should do what he said? I don't know. But he was a super nice person, and he shared personal experiences, and we had a good thing, but it wasn't the best mentor for me. My other three formal mentors were all women, and I think they had different approaches, but they were all very good at coaching and also very good at sharing. So not so good at pointing out the direction that I should take, but more coaching me and sharing their experiences, making me find out what I wanted to do. That was something that worked for me, but we are all different, right? I think most important for me has been my informal mentors. These two persons, and maybe some others as well. So Shuling Li was my supervisor at first during my PhD in Lund. She was a great supervisor, but quite soon I think our relationship also turned into something else when she was more of a mentor. She gave me a lot of responsibility. She didn't direct me, which I don't like. You have heard me say that several times now. But she coached me and she gave me a lot of responsibility. After 2 years of my PhD, she left me all alone at Lund University. She moved to London. But she was always available on email and phone if I needed. So I continued another year and I finished my PhD after 3 years, which with the thesis I was proud of and happy with. Shuling always stood up for herself and for the people in her group. She was truly inspiring and no one could push her down. She experienced a lot of oppression for different reasons, and she left Lund University for some reasons as well. But she stood up and she made her voice heard, and I have always felt I can turn to her anytime and she will be there. So yeah, okay, great person for me. And the same goes for Gunilla Westergren Thorsson. I don't know if Pernilla met her. She was the dean of our faculty. She left 2 years ago, finished her period. But when I came into contact with Gunilla, she was the head of our department. 2 minutes. Oh, head of our department. And she was just great being there, doing things that none of my male colleagues. I had several male colleagues. We were 10 PIs at the same section. I happened to end up in a very difficult situation for some reasons, but I felt none of them neither understood, neither did anything. But Gunilla was there and she helped me through that. And I think without these two persons I might not have stayed in academia, but they were there helping me really a lot, being good role models. And that is also why I feel so happy that I can be a mentor now. I want to give back. I got a lot from my mentors, formal and informal, and now it's time for me to give back. So I'm trying to do that. So I skipped the last slide, but we have some interesting things going on at Lund University. You can read about them in the PDF version of this. Thanks for listening.